Hey people, the Merc here. This is a interesting talkback. I want to, talkback podcast I want to do here. I mean, website's always the same: www.talkbackworld.net. Place for the real fan. That's where all the fans gather. Discussing all things in fandom, whether it be comic book, movies, games, television shows, whatever it may be. Just for the real fans. And it's been going pretty well. But I think just the diversification that I've seen has led me to decide to actually start looking into other areas that I'm actually a fan of, because it's not just movies for the Merc, it's not just movies for Have Hope. Um, I'm a big time gamer, I mean, I've been gaming since I was, since I was 6 years old, maybe even before then, but not that I remember, but I remember my Tomitronic days, moving on to Commodore 64, then moving on to the NES, moving on to all these things, and Amstrad and whatnot and whatever. I mean, I've basically owned every single worthwhile console in existence, basically, at any point in time, or played on one. So it's one of those things that it's been a big part of my life. And having Talkback World, I haven't really expressed my gaming situation. So, I mean, I think that the first, podcast to do with games that I'm going to do is to do with a game that I'm actually looking forward to, FIFA '09. Now, football is, I'm a big football fan as well. I used to be anyway. I mean, I still am, but football's really changed. As anybody who's a football fan will know, with the influx of all the millions and the commercialization of the sports, football, especially here in the UK, isn't what it used to be anymore. I mean, since the Premiership came in, it's pretty much destroyed the fabric of what football actually used to mean. And when you look at the World Game as well, compare the USA '94 World Cup to the World Cup in 2006. It's just incomparable. The football back then was quality. It was enjoyable, exciting. You had real legends. You didn't have like manufactured guys like Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, you can't compare that guy to what Romario was. Or Maradona, or Zico, or Roberto Baggio, or whatever you want to call it. It's incomparable. Point in case, you know, I seek solace in games. I mean, football games. I've been playing football games for a while, and was obviously one of the first really good ones. Started out in 1994 with FIFA International Soccer on the Sega Mega Drive. That was my first FIFA, and I've been rolling with the game ever since. And I really stopped playing the game in 2000 when I realized that these guys had stagnated. I think it was one of those complacency things where these guys, you'd made so much money, EA had become like a monopoly in the gaming industry, and all these franchises like Madden and FIFA and so on and so forth. It had become a situation that, when we can make money sleepwalking. We don't even have to innovate anymore. We just throw in a couple of new features and whatever, whatever. And people, we just repackage the same old game and throw in a couple of things, and these drones will still buy it. And I was one of those guys, who would be like, "Oh, they've now put in a left-footed pass instead of a right-footed pass. I've got to get this game." Or now you can go diagonal left instead of diagonal right. Oh, I've got to get, and this sort of nonsense. And that was what they kept doing till I wisened up, and a lot of other guys wisened up and left. And obviously there was the other big competitor for FIFA, which was Pro Evolution Soccer. Now, Pro Evolution is a Japanese-made game. It used to be called Winning 11. And I actually was onto Winning 11 when it was still only on grey imports in the UK. So you had to pay like double price to get it on imports and have all these adapters to play it on your on your console, And this game was like completely unlike FIFA, because what they'd done is that they looked at like, what is it that makes football cool? What is it that makes football enjoyable? And we're going to make a game that just emphasizes all the stuff that real fans really love about the sport, whether it's controllability, the excitement of dribbling and shooting and having complete control over your players. Basically they just focused on the gameplay, whereas FIFA was focusing on all the glitz and glamour and all the money they could throw at it, all the official licenses. They bought everything up, exclusivity for God knows how many years. Konami were like, you know what? Forget all that. All gamers really care about is how well the game plays. Like, we can put in an edit mode whereby you can re-edit everything, and really you get what FIFA's giving you, but you actually get a game you can actually enjoy playing. So I completely shifted. I mean, I started out with Winning 11, then I moved on to the N64 ISS, International Superstar Soccer, after it had come out on the regular. No, that was the N64. On the Super NES, it was International Superstar Soccer. Then I moved on to the N64 version, which was actually one of the most successful ones that they ever had. You know, if people remember that one. And, you know, ISS to Pro Evolution just went from strength to strength till it became the footballer's football game. You know, I mean, up till a few years ago, it apexed with like Pro Evolution 5 and 6, which 5 was like the greatest football game ever made, you know, on PS2. And Pro Evolution 6 and 2008 on PS2, crazy games, you know. So it just sort of apex whereby, you know, you had the Brazilian football team during World Cup breaks, they'd be playing Pro Evolution. You have Premiership, everybody, whether they be professionals or fans, were playing Pro Evolution Soccer. So it was a situation that, you know, FIFA's dead. FIFA can never come back. That's what everybody, I thought that FIFA could never come back because your mentality was so wrong. EA's mentality about games and everything was so wrong that throwing money at stuff like going out and buying BioWare, making offers for Take Two, trying to buy up Rockstar, it's like that's not what gaming is about, you know. Gaming is not about who has the most money and who can buy up X, Y, and Z and just make this some kind of monopoly like the movie industry has become. That isn't what made gaming what it is. Things like Pac-Man is what made gaming what it is. Mario, you know, things like that. Basically, the mentality that the Wii and Nintendo now have looking at games, that's what made it what it was. Anyway, that being said, EA did a crazy thing. Shocked the hell out of me. These guys decided right out of the blue in 2007 with their next gen stuff to completely rewrite their engine. This is something that FIFA guys like myself, we've been crying out for this. Like, guys, change your engine. You've been using basically the same, more or less same engine since USA International Football FIFA 94. It's more or less the same thing that they'd been using since then. And we're like, you can't use the same engine for like 10, 12 years. Finally, with the next gen, these guys came in with 360 and changed the engine. Now, FIFA '07, the one of the big things that they did was releasing the ball and having the ball a completely separate entity from the players. And I can't tell you how big a change that was, you know, for football games, because you're so used to scripted programming, whereby you pretty much know what your players are going to do, where the ball's going to fall, how it's going to bounce, and so on. But with this new thing, it was like there was an unpredictability introduced into FIFA that I'd never seen before. And this was the thing that brought me back after like a 7 year gap. Like I was out from 2000. It took till 2007 FIFA to bring me back. And I was like, wow, if these guys are going to try something like this, let me check this thing out. So I went in there, played FIFA '07, got it for 360. And this game it was extremely flawed. That is without a doubt. I mean, there were so many sluggish things to do with it. Responsiveness was bad. You know, there were so many exploits you could do. Like in FIFA '07, I remember that stupid finesse shots that you could like lob over the keeper from like the angle of the 18-yard box. You'd go online and everybody would be doing the same thing. Rebound shots, shoot it against the keeper, it bounces off, you shoot, blah, blah, blah. There were glitches for days in '07. But the fact of the matter is, it did enough to signal that, wow, man, the potential, you can actually see that there's potential there for a real Pro Evolution competitor. So I was like, man, you know, and a lot of fans as well, you know, a lot of PES guys, you know, like myself who'd shifted to Pro Evolution and were really there, like, you know, FIFA might be coming back with something, you know. So we rolled. They came out with their customary Champions League thing, which I will say this now and I'll always say it again. It's a money grab. What EA does with the Champions League stuff, the Euro 2008 stuff and all that is a money grab. It's like why can't you just put all of this into one game?